What's up? It's your boy Carcito here. Let's talk about it. This fight that just took place tonight, I want to make sure the people that follow me got a chance to actually see this live and we could talk about it. What's up? Well. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Sledge? I see you. Burundi. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, here's what I want people to understand. The guy that was fighting today gave Daniel Jacobs the surprise of a lifetime. He had no idea of what was coming. But before we get to that, let's talk about Big Baby Miller, who came in as Black Panther in the ring, but he fought like Nabaru from the Jabari tribe. Marfa! Marfa! He was looking like him. So if he put on the Black Panther uniform, that's probably what it would look like. Mm. Well, you got to look at things for like how they are. Crack Panther. Oh, Avengers was off the chain, but that's needless to say. But let's look at the Big Baby fight. It was the guy he was fighting, Dufonce. He was very durable. He's just not this. He's a shell of himself of what he used to be. He used to actually be a better fighter than what he is. Um, Big Baby is solid on certain shots, but his balance is off on a lot of his punches. He doesn't use his waist, but he does have some speed on his punches because he actually has taken some boxing, you know. But he's more of an arm puncher. Big Baby Miller throwing them punches. So he has a lot of push to his punches. Well, he's not going to fight Wilder. They're going to feed him. They're going to feed Big Baby over to Anthony Joshua. That's why he called out Joshua and not Deontay Wilder. He really went out to Joshua because that's who they want him to fight. Well, he was in much better shape this time than he was in the last fight. You know, being over 300 pounds, he's just naturally a big guy. If the rematch takes place with Lauren Hurd, I don't see the results changing. Anthony Joshua knock out Big Baby Miller, I say within 6 to 7 rounds. Well, you got to look at it. Big Baby Miller, as much as he got a little head movement to him. The thing about him is when he gets himself in range, he likes to throw short shots. He likes to have you throw one big shot, big uppercut, boom, and then apply his will when you're resting on the ropes. Joshua's not going to give you that chance. He's going to keep you at a distance, and then he knows he can land the right hand on Big Baby because he keeps his hand too low. Keeps his hands extremely low, and he comes right over the top. That'll be it. When he did that, he had success. All he had to do was throw the punch. But for some reason, he was holding back. He's a fighter that's like more concerned about the incoming than what's actually happening. Big Baby's best punch is his right uppercut. So that's what they're doing. They're stringing people along by pushing the fight out further and further. And they're going to make a mistake, and something's going to happen to one of these guys lose or get knocked out. So Saluki wins the fight in a lot of people's minds when the fight was going on with the Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs didn't take him for granted. He just didn't know a lot about this guy. This was a hard fought victory. When a lot of you guys saw Saluki as a guy just to show up as a tune up piece for Daniel Jacobs. But anybody who put this card together knew that this guy was going to put a fight up for Daniel Jacobs. Whoa, sincerely yours. My gosh. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Jesus. You see my eyes come out my head? I'm like, what did I do? I thought I hit a button or something. I'm like, what did I do? That thing just went red. Man, you must won a lot of money betting on Indiana like I did. Just for the streak, I bet Indiana again tomorrow. There's no way I could not bet Indiana pace. Now, when the fight took place, man, this threw me off the fight. When the fight took place, Jacobs was not doing what he. If for some reason I don't know if it was the conditioning or his conditioning was there, but his timing was off. He came out a little flat. He was winning some rounds, but they were tough. Like he would land a good telling shot, but Saluki was coming with threes, and sometimes he was coming with four, and it was throwing his timing off because he's got to keep his hands back. Saluki cracked him one time with a left. He hit him with a jab, like pop, pop, pop. Hit him with a three. I'm like, oh, I think he got Jacob's respect early on. He used the angles, and everybody, I think they got him confused and thought he was going to be some slow white guy. That's it. Slow white guy that's going to be there. And I don't know who scouted him. They had the wrong picture because he was none of that. He was pop, 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 slip, pop, 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 turn. And Jacobs was like, whoa, this was not the guy I prepared for. Jacobs didn't make an adjustment because he thought I'll just outwill this guy. But he was like saving it for some reason. Like he was just like, okay, we gonna be in for the long haul. I need to land something hard. So he's just trying to catch stuff with the glove, slip a little, get close to throw some meaningful shots. He wanted this guy to keep throwing, thinking he was gonna burn himself out, get close, boom. It was only when he stayed still did he get knocked down and get dropped. So no, Jacobs won, but I would say that 117 to I was like I had it like what about 116, one of those 116, 112s. But since he got an extra point for the knockdown, he got a 10-8 round in the 12. Yeah, 116, 111, that's accurate. Well, he got hit with an overhand right that changed his whole life. He changed his religion. He changed everything when that right came in. He dropped it at the right time. He threw it at the same time, but Daniel Jacobs threw his shorter and swifter, and he stayed there. That was the first time I really seen Saluki stand right there and go into a trading war right out the gate. And it was like, poop, 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 poop. Came over the top, knocked out completely. But to show you Saluki was, yeah, it was one that would have put anybody down if they weren't prepared for the fight. Saluki got up and he was ready to go and he started back swinging hard. And that this guy trained for this fight. He wanted to beat Danny Jacobs. Who do I want to see next for Danny Jacobs? I want Triple Cheese, Ganani, Golovkin back in that ring. I respect Bonas. Bonas is a durable opponent, but he ain't fought in 2 years. There's no way Gennady Golovkin should be defending a title against Bonas and he ain't fought in 2 years when you got mandatories out there. But they're afraid that those other guys might whoop Triple G. So let's give him a soft touch so that we could do the Canelo rematch and we'll do it in September. Yeah, I heard a little something about Jesse's fight. I didn't see it, but somebody told me Jesse got stopped. That was the only way Jesse was going to lose. No, he fought, what's his name? Dogbo. And Dogbo put him to sleep. It was a TKO in like round 11. Dogbo, that big guy from Africa. Well, not big guy, but you know what I mean. He's from Africa. He's 19-0 with 13 knockouts. I think he's 20-0 now with 14 knockouts. He can crack. There's been no development really in boxing. I just did a video talking about the Charlos. I just did the Adrian Broner video. That was just a week ago. So what are you talking about? This guy said I act like a great guru, great boxing analyst. Tell he don't know me very well, do he? Regis is power, man. He's power at the weight class. He's pretty big for the weight class, so he gives a lot of people problems because he don't mind getting hit. Regis is a problem because he likes to fight. He's not trying to be cute. Even though he got lateral movement, can move side to side, Regis can fight. And he will bring that fight to you and not afraid. Guys like that is real tough. You can hit him. He ain't no pretty boy. He ain't trying to out slick you. But when he land that shot for real and he stand in front of you, he there for the whole show. He want the belt. That's an interesting fight. But I'll tell you what, Mikey Garcia better be on his ones and twos because even though Mikey can crack at 140, this is a real 140. This is a real 140, meaning that he's a solid 140. He ain't no little guy. And you just saw what happened to Mikey when he first went up to 140. Oh, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, I want to see what Isaac Dobo do. Dogbo down the road. Well, Jesse's a good fighter. He wasn't outstanding, but he was good. He was decent. He surprised me against Nonito. He really did. He did a good game plan on Nonito, so it's definitely surprised me. Well, you got to look at it from like everyone else's standpoint. Eh, it's all right. Did I watch the new Avengers? You must be really new to this game. Of course, I watched the Avengers numerous times. Oh yeah, I got information on the Cleveland situation. A lot of stuff went down today that I just been waiting because I wanted to see is anybody else gonna post it or throw something out. I'm going to tell you all about it today, tonight, because I don't want nobody to steal it from me. So I waited. I gave them time. Nobody posted nothing about it. So now if I know if it comes out tomorrow, people are copying off me. Yes, at 147, as long as Errol can make it, he will have some problems. It's a couple of guys there. He should really be at 54, but some guys could probably give him a problem at 47. Like Kel was giving him some problems, and Kel is a big welterweight, but he can't make 47 no more. He couldn't, and that killed him to make weight at 47 for that fight. But I respect Kel Brook for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. His own promoter told him, "You don't need this fight. What are you doing it for?" He was like, "It'll be a big show. I wanted the show improved." Wilder sent the offer for $50 million. Eddie Hearn said he wanted proof of funds for the money for the fight. They're not doing that fight right now. They want to push that to next year. That's just it. Well, Carmelo Anthony, when he got that deal, he still was a big name in the NBA. So he's still off that Knicks contract. Melo said he won't come off the bench. Well, you can opt out. He had a no trade clause in his contract. I think they finished paying Allen Houston by now. They still paying Allen Houston. Jeez, him and Larry, what's his name? Larry Johnson, boy, they took a lot of the Knicks' money. Clay is a rhythm shooter. If he's in a good rhythm, he won't miss. Now you imagine him in the Los Angeles Lakers. You put Clay Thompson on the Lakers right now today, they will be lighting up the NBA. But Clay can go cold because the thing about Clay is when he's got to guard somebody defensively, normally a big name, he expends a lot of energy on the defensive end. He plays both sides of the ball. They never really mention him defensively, but he's up there as one of the top defenders. So when you look at Clay, you're like, well, oh man, I never really looked at him as a defensive player. We know that, but he is. Keith Thurman's done. He's done as a fighter. He's done, and that's because he didn't have the discipline. Once he got money, he wasn't hungry no more. That's when all the injuries start happening. See, this is when when the fight's over, boom, Keith gonna blow up 20 pounds. He gonna blow up 30 pounds. Then that's when you get hurt trying to get back in shape because you're in a weight loss camp. So that's how you could be undefeated and fade into to the abyss. Lack of discipline. Before he had the Indian girl, he had another girl. Keith has just lived his life reckless. He was in a car accident, got hurt, He got hurt in the gym. Now he's re-injured his hand. He was always gonna have bad hand injuries because Keith hit so hard, being a big guy. You the first guy I heard that said Saluki won the fight. Now I didn't think he won enough round, plus the knockdown. That pretty much did it. I mean, that would be nice because you guys would you know that because of social media, Floyd's fame has went like this. But people don't realize Floyd's been fighting before the internet fame and his rise to the top of the boxing world during that internet phase. Because when Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya, that was like my first video on YouTube ever. And I've been a member since YouTube got started. So the internet just started. So as soon as he was going up like this, boom. Yeah, he was on a plane like this going up. So that's when people started to see Floyd. And even though he was fighting like maybe once a year, they ain't missed Floyd. Floyd versus Roy. Me and Roy Jones had this argument before. And when I say argument, I mean argument. Me and Roy Jones have had this argument before. That's right. Casa Mayor, Freitas, Spadafora, Costa Zoo, Ricky Hatton, Mosley. All those guys wanted no points of Floyd at one point in time. Arcelina Freitas and Casamayor, when they had that epic fight, and they was like, Floyd only fights main fighters, like on they Showtime fighters. I'm an HBO fighter. HBO tried to get them for a fight. Their management weren't interested in them going to HBO for the fight. It's the same thing people see now, but when it's Floyd's name, they always Floyd running from him because it fits their narrative. But I had to hear about that back then before it was really the rise of the internet. And when I mean the rise of the internet, meaning that video, because you guys didn't know, video was available, but you had to pay out my goodness. You had to make a lot of money to pay for that bandwidth. You like, man, you got to pay for your own. Believe me, it costs a lot of money. We used to have it on Boxing Socialist, our website. In case you don't know, boxingsocialist.com is the website we own with Sean Craddock, our partner. Now, you've seen him as Boxing Sports or Boxing Socialist. I don't know what he's calling himself these days, but the Boxing Socialist. Well, no, Roy was taught fundamentals. Roy relied more on his reflexes like Nonito Dunier. That's why in the later parts of their career, it's hard for them to go back to basics because they weren't using the basics. They weren't practicing the basics no more. They in there focusing on reflexes. Pop, 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 pop. And Nonito is mostly reflex. Wait till you make a mistake and counter. Boom. This is what kept him alive in the Freitas fight. Freitas landed big shots on Nonito. None of these shots would have landed if we're talking 4 or 5 years ago. Not one. Not one of those shots Frampton was throwing would have landed on Nonito. But it's time. It's definitely time. It's time for Nonito to sit it down. No, the speed was there. It was the reflexes. He never was a super fast guy. He had quick reflexes, rhythm, bouncing on his feet. When you're older, you're older. And there's no bounce on the feet. He was like this most of the fight. Getting hit, trying to move. He was a little step behind, pulling back. He wasn't dipping to the side no more. But when he was throwing shots and he was winning rounds, don't give me that. I mean, he fought. But when you got another guy who's younger in there, like he's way more experienced than Frampton as far as knowing what to do. Yeah, Nonito rocked Frampton a lot because he can crack. See, Nonito's problem is not he can't hit. He can hit because he knows how to throw punches. But that's what his whole reflex was for, to get you off balance so he could throw. Boom. Because he's a tall guy for the weight class. That's why his frame, this was the weight class he was supposed to be in. He had to sweat down to them smaller weights and was whooping those little guys. Now he's into his weight class he's supposed to be in. I remember they thought Nonito was going to go all the way to welterweight to be the next Manny Pacquiao. And I don't know how his body can take all this. Because yes, you can still hit hard or hit harder, but you got to take these bigger guys hitting you, and you might not be able to take it as much. It's a lot of wear and tear on you. And the right side of Nonito's face, because he couldn't get out of the way of some of those shots coming in, it was telling. But 5 years ago, he would have toyed with Frampton, would have toyed with him. I just text Roy Jones. I'm gonna see what he say back. But me and Roy argue all the time about who the best between him and Floyd. And I always break it down to the technical parts of boxing. Roy risked a lot more. Who beat Roy in his prime? Zab and Adrian Broner? A little bit. They have some similarities, except for the lack of control. More lies on the side of Zab Judah more than Adrian Broner. Zab would do silly stuff on national television. Adrian never choked a referee yet. Right, I know Montel. They gave Montel that fight on his back. Montel was knocked down and then he laid on the floor and they disqualified Roy and they put the belt on him. Montel got knocked out to get the belt. Great parents. If I was rigging down, he shouldn't be depressed. He got a good paycheck, but he always had bad management.